gonna just hit record without saying anything?
No.
You just have you go, we did it! We're done on it!
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the
Or
shit
welcome
show.
back.
Or no.
We have
Everyone who's listening right now is a new listener.
all of them.
If you're not, then fuck off. And you can go away.
We don't want you to listen anymore, Corey.
Yeah, Corey, you're the only one we hate, apparently.
I don't know. It's just someone I know who listens every week.
Yes. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are Soul of a Gamer.
Soul of a Gamer.
And every week we come to you with a new game that we play and we tell you about.
Yes, we give ourselves unique challenges. We tell you all the things we like, we dislike, any glitches, any weird mishaps we had with the game, and how we got through it.
Yeah. And I'm starting to like us playing bad games. I'm really having fun playing bad
Some of them
games.
have been pretty fun.
Yeah, this one was really fun. This is one of those games where it's like a guilty pleasure. You hate it while you're playing it, but you can't really stop because you want to keep going. You're like, oh, all right, but this is fucking stupid, but I'm going to beat it. I'm going to do it.
You know, I had never played any Yu-Gi-Oh games before, and you told me this was
the
different.
worst one to start with.
Yeah, you told me this is way different dueling mechanics than any of the other Yu-Gi-Oh games. And I got into it, and right away I was like, this is easy as hell.
Yeah, right?
And then you're like, all right, you're going. And then all of a sudden you start getting a little bit further in the game. You're like, this is hard as fuck.
Yeah, it gets harder.
And then I didn't understand a lot of the mechanics, and it never teaches you any of the mechanics. And so I was just really starting to struggle for a lot there. And then I kept on getting lost, and we'll get into that when we go over the story.
This game is very non-linear. So every week we come, play a game, blah, 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 Soul of a Gamer. We've done the whole introduction. Yes. So let's just get right into it. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. Oh, what did we play last week?
Last week was...
God, it was so long ago.
Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 1 and 2. So we hope you enjoyed that episode. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, go ahead and take a listen to it. That's a really nostalgic game for a lot of people. So we'll bring back some good memories, and you get to hear me rant about how crappy the original version is. But this week we played Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Cards.
Yes, it was a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, so you know what's funny is I remember... So when I was a kid, we didn't go... Like, I don't know if you knew game releases, but I didn't know shit for game releases, right?
Yeah.
So like, when I was, 10, 9... you would go to the game store, you just fucking play games because they had like, you could be like, can I try this game before I buy it? And okay, you can try it. So that's what you would do. And you're like, all right, I'll buy it. And that's what I did with this game. So I played it when I was a kid, but I think I beat it when I was a kid, but I probably did very.
Oh, okay.
This time I had a plan, I had a mode of action. I was very smart about it. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But you go to the game store and you never, like, I could never see this being like, come get this at midnight game.
I don't know if any of the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance games, like any of the handheld games really...
Pokemon.
Okay, besides Pokemon, had any like
Green
big
and Fire
release?
Red came out, I remember that release.
Okay.
That's the first time I ever did a release for a game. That, and then I think I did Halo 3 after that.
Yeah.
But the only times I've done releases were the Fire Red and Leaf Green and Halo 3.
I've done releases for... I think my first release ever was... Yeah, I think it was either Halo 3 or Halo 4.
Yeah.
And then, which was funny because I was even in the paper for Halo 4.
Are you?
Because they set the pre-orders for Halo 4 were like a year and a half or almost 2 years in advance. And I didn't know that at the time. I just randomly went into GameStop and they're like, hey, you could pre-order Halo 4.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I'll pre-order it. And then I was in the paper because they're like, is the hype on video games too much? Do people pre-order way too early?
That's weird.
And me and like 2 other people got called out for being the first ones in all of Colorado to pre-order Halo 4.
Interesting. Who cares? It's your money.
I know, it was funny, but
weird ass papers.
And then I did it with Assassin's.
Hey, hold on. Hey, fucking newspaper, which I'm sure was the Greeley Tribune.
It was the Greeley Tribune.
Fucking shit fucking newspaper. Why don't you fuck the fuck off, okay?
Which I didn't even know about the paper until I had a coworker of mine who came into work. He's like, dude, you were in the paper today. And he showed me the article.
Like, here's your shit name in here. Look at this shit paper. There's a picture of a cow at the front. Cow steals milk. and then there's Steven down at like the 7th page. Is buying video games causing people to go bald? Read later.
Is that why?
The Greeley Tribune is like reading the fucking National Enquirer.
You might need to quit buying some games.
The fucking, God, I hate that shit paper. Shit paper. Fucking close down already, you shit fucking ass paper.
So yeah, and then I think I pre-ordered Injustice and went that. Went to that one. I did like Assassin's Creed.
I think as we got older, we started doing it more. But like as kids, I cannot remember.
Well, and I don't do it much anymore.
Yeah, well, because now you could just buy digital. Now you don't have to.
Like the last
before
one,
you had to.
The last one, I only will do it if there's a really, really cool collectible.
Yeah.
Like I did it for Last of Us 2 because there's this giant Ellie statue that I got.
Yeah.
So
he puts it in his jerk-off chamber. It's really weird. I don't like it.
It's weird that I have a chamber for that.
Help me.
As a married man. But I guess it works.
but yeah, this game is not one I could see them. No one. There's no way. There is no way they had a pre-release for this game. But I do remember buying it as a kid and just trying it out and being like, yeah, it's good enough. Because this is not the first game that did this. And I didn't look it up, but I'm sure the same publisher had all these fucking games.
Maybe.
For because they're all different. Like they're not normal Yu-Gi-Oh rules. And this seems like so much work.
This was the worst dueling system of any card game I've ever played.
Imagine already having a system in place. And effects on the cards,
a great
and
one
descriptions.
Too.
Well, and an okay one, but like you already have all this stuff, and you're like, nah, write it again. Like they had to do so much work to just completely change every card in the game. I'm like, wow, you guys really went for it. Holy fuck, what the hell's wrong with you?
Well, that was the weird thing, because some of the cards, like I recognize some of the cards. I didn't really play Yu-Gi-Oh very much. I never watched the anime. My parents banned it at my house because of the demonic names of some of the characters.
Exodia, the devil man.
Yeah, whatever.
I remember when I was a kid, I had a card and it reached out and touched me inappropriately. So yeah, they were right.
Well, I had a card that made me commit murder.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So lesson learned, podcast over. Don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! The devil is in it. So there you go. All right, guys. Soul of a gamer. We're going.
So yeah, but so I didn't really play the game too much. I had a little bit of cards for a while because I had friends that always give me like random packs or random cards or random shit cards they didn't want or whatever. But so I never really got into this. This is really the first time I really like fully got into anything Yu-Gi-Oh! And I hated this system so much.
If you would have played a regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, you would have liked it a little bit more. You would have learned a little bit about the rules. The rules are weird. The cards are weird. But in this one, it's so different. So I guess let's start at the beginning. This follows the story of you, and you are in place of Yugi and Joey, basically. So everything you duel in this game, Yugi and Joey did it during the Battle City tournament.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it kind of, you replace both of them in certain duels. So, and then there's some duels you just don't see at all. So, like, the Bones, the Rex Raptor, they don't duel at all in Battle City.
Okay.
Because they're there, but they're not doing anything.
Okay.
They're in the background. I think Bones gets a bunch of cards because he steals them kind of from a graveyard. But that's how Bakura gets in, is he defeats all the people in the graveyards. And then Rex Raptor, he gets eliminated fairly quickly, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know by who. No, he lost to Esparoba, who you faced too.
Okay.
So he's the psychic guy who...
Oh, okay.
So if you know the anime or the manga, there's all these characters, but you're the replacement for Yugi and Joey, even though they're in the game, doing things around you.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this out here for you and for all of them too. I played through this entire game, but I was really struggling and getting lost and getting really annoyed at this game. So there was times I was just kind of skipping through the story because I was just so annoyed. The story,
if you've ever watched the anime or read the manga, the story is like verbatim, only you replace some of them.
Okay.
That's all it was. Cool. Like, even My Valentine, I think she's in the Battle City finals because she loses to Merrick, but they like change up the losing order in the finals. Like, it gets really weird. Okay. Which I don't know if she made the finals in the game. Did she?
She made it into the final 8.
And then who beat her? I don't even remember.
Was it the...
Because in the original, it's Merrick who beats her, but it's not in this one because Joey gets beat by Merrick.
Yes.
And he kind of replaces He gets beat by Merrick later on, but he's in the final 4.
Oh, I think it was possibly that. Oh, it was the brother, wasn't it? That beat her?
Brother?
The older brother of the younger... the Saito or whatever his name was.
Saito.
Because there was a brother combo in there that like the younger brother made this machine that you had to duel in this building that had a security guard by it, and his older brother.
Kaiba. Yes, Kaiba. So Kaiba and Mokuba, not nowhere in there was Seto Kaiba.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, there's something
Saito.
Sorry.
So yeah, you take the role of Yugi and Joey basically. Like the first part of this game, you have to go meet Yugi and Joey in the square and talk to all these people, and it doesn't explain this at all to keep the story going. Like literally, there is so little explanation of what you need to do next.
It is so ridiculous.
Yeah. And you'll get hints. You'll get, if you talk to every character, they'll be like, I saw this person at the building. And you're like, oh, the building. Yeah.
I got so annoyed. And I almost like had to call you or text you at the beginning of this game because I was getting so annoyed because so it starts out and they're talking about this tournament and they're like, hey, there's this tournament happening. It starts at 9:00 a.m. sharp on the dot.
Yeah.
Don't be late. Everyone's going to start. You need to collect these 6 locator cards. If you get these 6 locator cards, you make it to the final. Only 8 people make it to the finals. And so I'm like, all right, cool. And so they're like, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And then I'm like, cool. So I start walking around and every person I talked to was like, hey, it's not time to duel yet. It's not 9:00.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And I literally like talked to like every single person. I went to a shop and this guy's like, hey, to duel someone, press this button. And I'm like,
I didn't even know that. I forgot how to duel people. I'm like, why can't I fucking duel anyone? This is bullshit. Yeah. And then I randomly started pressing a bunch of buttons. And then it was like, you want a duel? I don't want a duel right now. I'm like, oh, that must be the duel button.
So yeah, I was going through that and I was doing that. And I was like, what in the world? I was like, do I have to wait like an hour or half an hour? Like I still to
all
this day don't know.
All day.
I really don't, because I was playing for probably about half an hour before randomly. I don't know if I did something.
You have to talk to everyone.
Oh, okay.
So you have to talk to everyone and then try to duel them afterwards, I think. But then they walk away, and once you get the last person to walk away, which I think is My Valentine, then you start the tournament. Yeah, but it took me a while to figure it out too. I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Because I did notice there was a couple of people that when you talked, it did a little chime after you got done talking to them, and they said it's not time yet. And then randomly, finally, one guy walks out. It's like, it's 9:00, time to start. Time to duel. And you're like, all right.
On a side note, if no one's ever watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge series, check that shit out because it's fucking hilarious. Because every time somebody talked in here, all I could think about was like, hey, my hair gives me the ability to command you what to do. It's just such a funny thing. But
watch the abridged version of any of your favorite animes.
It's so funny.
Like, especially Sword Art Online.
Yeah. So you follow the Battle City tournament. In the Battle City tournament, Yugi's already won the Island tournament, Pegasus tournament at this point, and he's the kind of king of games, and Kaiba wants to beat him.
Master.
Yeah. So this is a bullshit tournament, by the way, because in the manga, Kaiba sets up the tournament and changes the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he gets a card that lets him sacrifice 3 monsters to do 4,000 points of damage. And in the original, that's how many life points you had. I'm what a fucking dick. He purposely changed it to 4,000 and then he banned all other do damage to you cards except for his, of course. Wow. And he has the only one. But in this game, you get it. It's Obelisk. Obelisk has an ability to let you do this bullshit. And in this game too, your decks have deck capacity. So this is a weird thing. This isn't normal for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. You can't have certain cards in there if they exceed your deck capacity, and your deck capacity goes up as you duel more people, but not by a lot.
Yeah, it's like 10 or 30 for some of the bigger people, or 50 is the most you get from any one of the duels. And the thing that's annoying about this, the best way I can describe this to people who don't know what we're talking about, is if you've ever played any sports game, like fantasy games or anything, and they have those fantasy units where you're only allowed to spend so much money, or you're only allowed to have so much points per team or whatever
before you get a penalty. And this one you don't even get to play, but
it won't even let you, and you have to have 40 cards. No higher, no lower.
So 40
on the dot.
Cards is the limit, so you can't have less than 40 cards in any regular game, but normally you can have more. When this one, for some reason, it said nope, fuck you,
which was weird because because I'm a big Magic the Gathering player. I used to be a big Magic the Gathering player. Anyways.
And there's a 60, I think.
It's 60, and you could go as low as 40, and you could go as high as you wanted.
Yeah.
You could have a deck of 300 cards.
It's not ideal in Yu-Gi-Oh! To have a big deck, but 50 is a pretty good number for Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's just weird that they decided 40 cards, but then they also didn't have any effects, so there's no point.
The cost of these cards was
insane.
Really random. So
something with a 2,000 defense but 100 attack will have a 300 cost, and you only have 1,500 points to spend. So that takes up 1/5 of your fucking deck.
And something that's 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense cost 72 cost, and then something that's 1 sacrifice that's 1,800 power and 1,400 defense is like worth 17 cost.
Because that's a shit card.
Well,
once any sacrifice monster is a shit card unless it has.
Oh no, sacrifice monsters are shit.
Oh yeah,
I won the game with those.
I know, but I never used them because I'm smart. So
well, I don't know anything about you.
I didn't know any of this stuff either, so I'm going to tell you some stuff that I learned about some of the effects of these monsters because none of the effects are normal.
No,
and then all of them are random, and they don't tell you that on the card.
No, and that's the thing that was annoying. They're very vague. Like when you look at the descriptions of the cards, it'll be very vague. Like you can make a copy of this, and you're like, for free? Do I have to pay anything?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Do I have to twist anything? Like,
Dora,
how do you do any of this?
I was looking up cards, and Dora apparently is one of the best cards, or Doran. It's one of the best cards in the game because you can make a clone of itself like right at the beginning,
instantly,
which is good for sacrificing later. And he's keeping a card on the field on the first turn. Yeah,
he's 900 power, 900 defense.
Yeah,
and you can have 3 of the same card in a deck, which I had 3 of him.
Yeah,
and so him and Toadmaster were 2 of the cards that I had 3 of each in my deck.
Yeah,
because Toadmaster was another one. It had an effect because you can't attack first turn. When you first play a monster down.
Yeah. So on the first, just the
very first turn. Yeah. And not first turn for the second person, but first turn for the first person.
Everyone has to draw once before you can do an attack.
Yes. So actually, Toadmaster, you can summon another monster immediately, and Doran, you can make a copy of himself immediately. Yeah. So even if they put a powerful monster out first and kill that monster, you have another one that you can sacrifice or whatever.
Yeah. They're really good cards, they're really useful in the beginning.
And they're cheap costing too.
They're cheap.
I used them all the way to the end. They're in my final deck.
So they're good for the beginning because all the beginning decks you face are like way lower than yours.
Yeah,
and you're like, man, I'm fucking amazing. Apparently,
well, and that's what I thought because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna build this awesome monster creature deck that I'm just smacking fools because they're putting down like 250, 400 power. Monsters while I'm putting down Doran at 900 power, and I'm like, yeah, what now?
Yeah.
No,
not in this. So it's weird. There's a big shift. I think when you face Kaiba for the first time, actually when you face Mako Tsunami. Mako Tsunami is one of the most annoying fights because he just has all these high power monsters.
Which one's Mako?
He's the sea one.
Oh God,
Tsunamis.
Don't
you get it?
I didn't even.
Mako Tsunami. He's married to the ocean.
I don't want to hear you guys crap, right?
Right. So he has this like insane. All the water decks are stupid.
They're stupid.
A, they get attribute bonus, so you're in water, so you get
immediately
a bonus already. And B, they're all high powered. It's bullshit.
Because seriously, like the first monsters he's putting down are 1400 power and 1300
which doesn't sound like a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm gonna give you that. It really does. In this game, it is fucking phenomenal.
But it's so hard because the deck capacity thing really fucks you over.
Yeah,
with that
it does.
Because you can't have higher power monsters than that.
Not till the end of the game.
Until the end of the game.
And barely.
And yeah, seriously.
Because I think I ended at 2800 for my deck capacity because I sat there and I tried to do like a little Bones thing.
Yeah.
Because Bones is the easiest guy to beat and you can get 10 each time. But I'm like, God, 10 times to fucking do this. And then I looked up online and people are like, this deck costs 10,000 capacity. I'm like, how the fuck do you have 10,000 capacity?
There's people that farm, like one of the best, because I was looking at farming techniques a little bit. And one of the farming techniques, I didn't want to do this because this took way too long and I just didn't want to do this. But the first time you go into the museum and you have to face that Egyptian lady.
Izisu?
Whatever.
Ishisu?
But,
Ishisu.
And then you have to beat Saito again.
Just call him Kaiba.
So after you beat her, you get I think it's either 30 or 50 deck capacity.
Yeah.
And you also get 50,000 money.
Shizu.
Yeah. 50,000 money and something else.
Yeah, you don't need money is stupid.
Money is dumb in this game.
Yeah, you get way too much.
Way too much. And then you lose on purpose against Kaiba.
Yeah.
And then you start that again.
Yeah, I saw, I did that a lot too, because that's how I got my deck capacity kind of high, but I had to keep facing it, and I wasn't losing on purpose. I was just and then I switched my deck, and I finally beat him.
I got my deck capacity up because I got lost later in the game. I'll talk to you guys about it, but it's so ridiculous. And one of the things that I gotta say, I did not know why the different fields were different colors for the longest time because it doesn't explain that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was bonuses to like water. Like when it was on a blue thing, I was like, why is this like blue all of a sudden? And then like, why is it green all of a sudden? Why is it like red all of a sudden? Like,
why
does
is it
this
black
matter
all of a sudden?
Yeah. And then like all of a sudden, like, everything they were putting down was really high.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what is going on? And then I finally looked up. I had to look at the dual mechanics about halfway into playing this game.
Because it's so hard. There's no explanation.
Yeah. And, well, like, so I'm going to explain the dumbest dual mechanic of this entire game right here, right now.
Attributes.
Fucking attributes.
I love the attributes.
No, they're dumb as
They
fuck.
make it really easy when you know what you're facing. So,
Yes.
So that's really nice about it.
That's the only good thing.
I think they did that for that reason because they know they fucked up with the deck capacity.
But the thing that sucks about it so much is you don't know about it at the beginning. And it doesn't tell you about it ever in it. It just shows like these symbols saying like, this card is ghost/forest. And you're like, what does that mean?
So it's like Pokemon. You have like advantages against certain things. So in this one, if you have a forest creature and they have a pyro, whether or not your forest creature was at 27 million power and the pyro was at 100, the pyro wins every time, no matter what. And that's just what it is. It's just light, fairy beats dark. It gets really stupid. Yeah, there's too many fucking attributes.
Yeah, it's like there's dream, there's fairy, there's forest,
so
there's
divinity
water.
was the best one. That's the one that doesn't have any weaknesses. Yeah. So divinity is like the one you want, but there's only like 5 cards that do.
Yeah,
and they're all like 70,000 power, except for the god cards, which are free.
And they're all like 3 sacrifice monster to pull it out cards, which is really hard to do. And
I really wanted to play with 5 god dragon. And you can play against him because the guy in front of Kaiba Corp has it. And the machine has it. No, the guy in front of Kaiba Corp has it, so you can beat 5 God Dragon.
Oh, okay.
But he's really hard. He's 5,000 power, and he's a divinity monster.
Yeah. So this attributes thing, though. Yeah, seriously, if you have a 100 power fire, you could take out a 4,000 power forest. Yeah. It is just so dumb.
It's ridiculous. But it also helps you somewhat. Like, you could go into the Mako Tsunami fight with just a bunch of Thunder guys.
Yes. Which would have been...
They really copied Pokemon.
Yeah,
they went hard. Because they were like, listen, what do people think? Thunder, lightning, against water, weakness.
Yeah. Well, and that was... It wouldn't be, like, too bad if it was just, like, an advantage. Like, Pokemon is double damage or half damage.
Yeah.
But this was just instant kill no matter what. Yep. Which was really annoying. And the thing was
there's
annoying...
no way for them to do double damage or half damage.
I know. Yeah,
there's literally... Because they already had the field thing where you get extra points if you're the field type, and you get minus points if you're the opposite. So they did that.
Okay, I didn't know about the minus points.
But unfortunately with the actual monsters, there's no way for them to be like, all right, well, you cut off a piece of the card, but you don't kill the whole thing, you know?
But the one thing that was, because it doesn't tell you anything about it. Yeah, I kept on being in these matches, and then all of a sudden, like, someone would play a card, and it'd be 200 power, and then they would take out my 3,000 power monster, and I was like, how is this happening? Like, I was screaming at
you almost think it's an effect, too, of the cards. You're like, I gotta get that fucking card!
And and I would go look up that card, which looking through the cards in the shop was so hard and painful to do.
And it's painful for me, and I know all those cards, because none of the cards are normal.
And I don't.
All of the cards are different fucking effects, and you're like, okay, why did you do this?
And the thing that was also annoying is just like, I looked up all this stuff on the cards, and they're like, you can get any card with this password machine. Just type in the password. So I type in the password, and I'm like, looking through my card list, like, I don't have this card. It doesn't give you the card when you put the password. It unlocks it in the shop.
Which is okay, too, because you have unlimited money.
No, because you have to find it in the shop.
Oh, so what I ended up doing is I found a card list that had the card number on it, and it follows... So it's not an alphabetical. It follows the card number, like 001, 002. So Blue Eyes will always be the first one, because I think that's 001, and it's also like 898 or some bullshit. But they always follow the number. So that was the way I found it. But that card site didn't have all the cards on it, too. So I had to guess for some of them. I'm like, all right, this is not on here, so I'm going to fucking find it now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just so ridiculous. Yeah. And then, like, I didn't realize, like, how any of the rituals worked. I didn't realize how
I didn't understand those
worked.
either in this game.
I still don't understand rituals.
The rituals were weird, because normally you play the magic card, and then you can sacrifice from your hand or the field, and you summon a ritual monster from your hand. Because you have to have them both in your hand. Yeah. Or if you have a card that says take it from the deck, you can do that too. Yeah. But in this one, it doesn't do that. So it's just very confusing how you get a ritual monster out. Also, did you notice you start with the fucking magic ritual card?
Yeah.
And you don't have the ritual monster in your deck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or any of the pieces to it. Like, I started out with the Mask of Darkness, but I didn't start out with the other card that you needed for that ritual.
I started out with the ritual card with no fucking ritual monster.
Yeah, I didn't start out with the ritual monster. I just started out with the ritual card and a Mask of Darkness, which you needed the Mask of Darkness and one other card.
So they changed it way up.
Yeah, it was...
That's so weird. Because they took out fusion monsters, too, in this. So some of the monsters, Flame Swordsman, which is a card you get from Joey.
Yeah.
It's normally a fusion monster, so you need 2 monsters to fuse together in order to summon it. And you use a Polymerization or Fusion Gate or whatever. But in this one, they just took out fusion monsters. So I'm guessing maybe they kind of replaced fusion with ritual and changed the way everything fucking worked, apparently.
Maybe.
God,
maybe
it's
that's what it
fucking
was.
obnoxious.
But yeah, I didn't understand how a lot of the traps and anything work. Yeah. And there's some cards in this game that are so ridiculously broken.
I don't know how you activate traps on your opponent's turn. Because you literally can't do anything on your opponent's turn.
They activate the trap for you on certain things.
Okay, good. Because I never used them because I was like, all right, these traps are fucking worthless if I don't activate it.
I had my list. I don't know where it's
at.
Okay. So there's my favorite and the best trap card in the entire game is, I think it's like Tormental Tribute.
Oh, yeah. So that's Torrential Tribute. Yes. It's a card that normally if you flip summon, special summon a monster, you can flip that and destroy all cards on the field.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the OP cards in that game. Because I think they changed the effect a little bit.
Yeah, they changed the effect. So in this one, when you put it down, if an enemy attacked you, all of their monsters
are destroyed. Yeah. See, and that's so they literally took the effect of one card, Mirror Force, and gave it to Torrential Tribute. It's so stupid. And that's not a high cost card either. It's not like crazy low, but it's not crazy high.
I think it's like 30.
Yeah.
Or 50.
So it's fairly high for your deck. If you put 3 of those in, I mean, it's 1/8 of your deck or whatever. But
it's still worth it.
Still worth it.
Because, again, one of the problems is you need bigger monsters and stuff, and you have to put out these smaller monsters to get these bigger monsters sometimes, especially because I did a one where you had the sacrificial monsters. So I would put like Dorum out, and then I'd put that trap out, and then he would try to kill one of them, and I kill all of his monsters, and then
I barely use any magic traps. I had a Raigeki, which kills all monsters on the field.
Raigeki's awesome, but you can only have one in the deck.
You can only have one in the deck.
Monster Reborn, you can only have one in the deck.
Harpy's Feathers Duster, I put that in there. I didn't put Monster Reborn actually in there.
I did because it was way more broken than I thought at first.
Yeah, it's broken, but I didn't need it. So my insect deck, this thing is fucking amazing. So I didn't know this. They changed the effect of all these cards that normally don't have fucking effects on them. Petite Moth. That's a card that you need to use with another card to summon a monster that's a really powerful monster.
Is that the Cocoon?
Yeah, so you have the Cocoon alone, which is already 2,000 defense and 0 attack.
Yeah.
So you can put that down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it down, and if it's down for 1 turn, it turns into Ultimate Moth, which is 2,600 power.
Wow.
Yeah, already at the beginning of the next turn. It's literally, so normally what it has to be down for 2 turns, 2 standby phases, and then you have to use a card to upgrade it.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then you have to sacrifice a Petite Moth too, I think, in order to summon the Great Moth. And then if Great Moth is on the field for 1 turn, it turns into Ultimate Great Moth, which has 3,600 power or so.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't. And there's no way they're taking out, unless they have a Pyro, they're not taking out a 2,000 power.
Yeah.
And if you put Forest in your deck, it's 2,600 defense.
Jeez.
And they're not taking it out first turn. Yeah. And it's a low costing card, and you don't need the monsters. Like, in the original, it doesn't just turn it into it. You actually have to have the card in your deck to fucking use it.
Gosh.
This one, it just turns into it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was the thing, too, with like Toadmaster, because it's like, you can put out this Toad as your effect.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't even have that card. And I was like, but it still said I could choose the effect, so I did the effect, and it just gave me that card.
It's
I was
weird.
Like, what?
Mystic Lamp is the same way. Mystic Lamp, you can summon a Lejin, Mystical Genie of the Lamp, and that's 1,800 power free.
Yeah.
And Mystic Lamp is like 1,100 or 900 power or something.
Yeah.
So already you have some good cards in there. One of the cool cards that I found is another insect card where if you use its effect, it sacrifices itself and you summon a creature of higher power in your hand.
Oh.
So if you have like, I put an Ultimate Moth in my deck, and I put a insect. So I could just summon them for free whenever they were in my hand.
So yeah, one of the things I liked about Monster Reborn, which in anything with Magic, like if someone has a monster that they upgrade a ton, as if that monster is killed and it goes to the graveyard, if you were able to play that card from their graveyard, it doesn't give you all those extra bonuses. But it does in this game.
It does?
Like, if they sacrifice... Like, I had one where they sacrificed 3 to get one of the big monsters out.
Yeah.
And I killed it... I killed it with a different attribute. And then I just played Monster Reborn, and then I had a 3,000 power monster for free.
Oh, yeah. So, yes.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's in the regular game, too. Anything in the grade, it's not an upgrade.
Okay.
So
well, it just seemed weird to me.
It's a standalone monster. So, in the game, those go all to your graveyard, so that monster's in your graveyard, too. But these monsters are already good. If it had like an equip card that gave it 1,000 extra power, you wouldn't get that 1,000 extra power. You get it at its base form.
Okay.
So you can Monster Reborn without sacrificing because it's a special summon. Special summons, you can do as many special summons as you want a turn. You could do like 20 special summons. You can only have 5 monsters, but if you're constantly sacrificing, like I build decks that are all, and people do this all the time in Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, it's all about getting monsters out. Like, super fast. So in my first turn, I'll have a card like sacrifice this monster, summon 2 more monsters. When you summon this monster, destroy this card. If you destroy a card by this way, summon another monster. And it's just like, it's nonstop. So Yu-Gi-Oh matches don't take long.
Yeah.
They're 40 card decks, and normally you go through about 20 cards in your first couple.
Jeez.
Yeah, because it's all about getting cards out from your deck. Yeah, and it's very smart. It's hard to do that. It's not easy to like say, all right, this entire deck works together no matter what I draw. If I get the shittiest hand in the world, I'm fucked. But no matter what, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that sucked about doing sacrificial monsters that I did.
Yeah.
Because there was some times where I had 4 sacrifice monsters in my hand, but I didn't have anything to sacrifice.
That's why I hated them, because that's what my luck would be too. I draw 4, I'm like, okay, and I drew fucking Monster Reborn. Great!
So I would build up my deck capacity to get some better, smaller monsters up, and I kept on upgrading them up more and more and more, and then I had a good ratio.
Yeah.
I finally found a good ratio towards the end of the game. I tried doing this all on my own. I tried not to look up any decks in the game, which I know you sent me a deck, but I was just like, I'm going to make it with mine first.
I already played this, so I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm finding what these people did. And this deck was low cost. This is like 2,600 power. So, and I fucking dominated. It's nice.
Well, that was the thing that sucked, because I originally was going to look up a deck when I got really stuck, but the deck that I looked up, I had nowhere near the deck capacity that I could do it. And I didn't have all the cards unlocked, and I didn't know about the password thing right then. And I was like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, it's hard. And so I guess let's talk a little bit about story at this point. Okay. So in this game, your goal is to get 5 locator cards.
6 locator cards.
6 locator cards. You need 6 locator cards. And in the manga, if you top them all on top of each other, it makes a map and it shows you where to go.
Yeah, and they kind of said that, but they didn't.
They don't show it. They don't fucking show it. But it's cool because which is weird because that means you have to get different pieces from the one you have. Otherwise, you're just stacking the same piece. I don't know how you fucking knew who to duel and who didn't.
Well, and that was the thing that was annoying in this game too, is because you could duel almost every single person in this game.
Yeah.
But only 6 of them gave you locator cards.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole point was just to increase deck capacity, but you don't even have to do that because you'd rather duel the 10 people than the 5 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to go through and duel like story name characters. You duel Mako Tsunami, My Valentine. In the manga, this guy's not in the manga, but he's in the anime, the ninja guy. My Valentine's like, get lost, creep. I'm not going to marry you. And he's like a movie star. He's a ninja movie star, and he has a ninja deck. It's fucking stupid. But in the anime, he's from the anime, not the manga. Who else? You'd be Rex Raptor, Weevil Underwood, Bones. I think Bones gives you one. Esperoba, if I didn't say that already. Yugi, Joey.
Yeah.
You go through the whole story. You duel the guy who gives you Cypher normally, but I don't think he gave you Cypher. He's the weird he's got all the piercings and stuff, and he's bald head. He doesn't say anything. He's a mime.
Oh, yeah, that guy was weird.
Yeah,
so the first few times you try talking to him or dueling with him, you just get ...
Yeah. So he doesn't actually say anything. He's a mind slave of Merrick, because Merrick they don't explain this in here, but the Millennium items, some of them let you enslave people's minds, and he has the Millennium Rod, which lets him like invade people's minds and talk as them. That's why you face Joey.
Yeah,
and Joey's like evil, and then
and then like because he kills a lot. Or does he kill them or just trap them in the Shadow Realm?
So in the manga, they're definitely dead. So the Shadow Realm is made for the anime. They're just dead in the manga.
Okay.
Like my favorite thing was there in the anime, there's these fucking, you face the guy in the basement, the magician dude. I can't remember his name now. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Not Pandora. Something like that. It's something weird like that. Like it's a play on words. And he's got these like in the anime. It's these saws that he's like. And these are spirit saws, and they're literally blue spinning saws.
Oh, jeez.
And it's just spirit. And if you get touched by it, you go to the shadow realm. And in the manga, it's like, these are fucking real saws. I will cut your fucking legs off.
Well, and that was the craziest thing. So yeah, you go into this card shop, and this guy wants to like battle you, and he's like, I want to show you something in the basement.
And you're like, I'm not going to.
So you follow him in this like trapdoor.
I don't want to go in there.
You follow him and this trap door opens up and you go down to the basement and it's like all this torture equipment's in there. And then he's like, I built this little ring in the center here and it's got saw blades on each end and the loser's gonna get cut in half. And you're
so
like,
literally in the manga, he doesn't get cut in half because Yugi saves him. But then Merrick kills him anyway. So
well, and that's what happened here because you're like, you actually get the option. I don't know if you don't save him what happens because I actually tried to save him because it was like, do you want to like? It's like, he's like, help me. And I walked over to him and then the saw stopped.
No, it makes you do it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, so no matter what, it makes you be the big guy.
I didn't know if you had
it does give you some options in the game where you can be like, fuck off. But you don't get cool options like let him fucking die.
Yeah, there's only, I think, one option where you got a card.
Yeah. I don't remember. I would say the bad thing every time. So
though there was I'll talk about that later. But you go to try to save him and it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden
you save him,
or you Dave save him, but then he dies.
Then Merrick like you tried to save him, I'll kill him anyway, and then he just falls over. And everyone who falls over, you assume they die for sure. Like that's
exactly what I assumed.
I'm like, okay, they fell over. That's probably dead. I go and click on them. I'm like, let's just steal all their cards now.
Well, and that was the thing, because like only until the finals when he's facing Joey does he actually say that they trapped him in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
But every other time, no one says anything, and so you're just like, is he dead? Yeah. And then you leave the room and come back, and the body's gone.
Yeah. And the Shadow Realm was made up. It's completely made up for the fucking show, but in the original, he just kills him. Okay. Literally, people just die, and it's fucking awesome.
Interesting.
Because you're like, I'm playing a children's card game. Now my Dark Magician! Good, you lost. Now you die!
Which either way, if you're put into a coma or die,
it's crazy for playing a card game.
Ridiculous for a card game.
But yeah, so the whole story is to stop Merrick from doing something. It really doesn't explain what he's going to do if he wins.
Oh no, he does.
What? He's going to rule the world.
No, he's going to kill everything in the world and everybody in the world.
That's fine.
That's what he said.
By winning the stupid tournament?
He said he's going to win the tournament, get all the God cards. He's going to take all the God cards and go and kill every single person in the world.
Yeah. And it's such a weird thing. It doesn't what you're going to do. What now? You're going to kill people with
he doesn't even want to take over the world. He wants to kill every single person in the world. So, and it's the weirdest fucking thing. His backstory in the manga is really cool, but in this game, it does not explain shit. His sister is a Shizu. Yes. Which it does explain that. It does it kind of. But it doesn't say anything of why they're doing what they're doing. She says the God cards corrupted his mind, and we need to save his mind to save her brother, which you do if you defeat him somehow. Yeah, this game is so confusing. It's not even funny with it's just so like. And after you beat Merrick in the final duel, it's game over. And then if you load back up, it's just before you beat Merrick. Oh, okay. So there's no like after play or whatever. Like some games will have like, hey, you beat the game, now fuck around. Like GTA had like, hey, you finished the story mode, now you can just do what you want. Yeah. Fucking go kill some people. But in this one, no, not so much. You just go back to before you beat Merrick. That was stupid at the end of the game where you were like, all right, so we can just keep dueling while we're at school now. Yeah. You're now rich beyond your wildest dreams. Oh, you have so much money, and then you're just like, I'm not going back to school. I think the most I paid for a card was like maybe 800. Yeah, the proportions of the money in this game, you'll win like 50 grand, and then the best card in the game is like $800. And you're like, okay. And you'll win 50 grand like your last like 10 fights. 80,000 times you'll win over $1,000. Like I think I ended the game with $600,000 or $700,000. Yeah, like you can end in the millions if you just grind. Like it's so stupid. I bought a lot of cards because I was trying to out different things. Yeah, I just bought what I needed. But yeah, this game it's a weird fucking game where again you just don't like it while you're playing it. They do the most ridiculous things. Like we said, there's no direction. So the direction in this game is you have these little locations on a big map, and you go into that location, and it has like 3 zones, and then you go to another location, 1 zone, another location, 3 zones. Well, and here's the annoying thing about that. at the beginning, there's 3 locations, and you have to do enough things in those 3 areas
to unlock more.
To unlock another one.
Yeah.
And then to another one, and you unlock them one at a time, but it doesn't tell you how to unlock them. It doesn't show you how to unlock them. No one tells you about anything. They just say, like, oh, he's at the building. Yeah. And you're like, what building?
I love that they said that too. It's like, this is Domino City. It's a major metropolitan area. There's a bunch of skyscrapers. Which fucking building?
Yeah, they're just like, oh, she's in front of the building. And you're like, the building?
If you were in Omaha, Nebraska, and they said, go to the tall building, it's probably one fucking tall building. You go to that one tall building, you're good. But in this city, there's a shit ton of buildings. So then there's literally a location called The Building.
Yeah.
And you're like, no fucking way.
And you hear about it a lot before you know about it.
Also, this is the weirdest building.
Yes.
You go inside and it's an arcade at the bottom floor.
Yes.
The next floor is an office of some kind with a bunch of people
and then it goes to the roof.
And then it goes to the roof. And you're like, wow, this building sucks.
Which the building looks huge. Yeah. It looks like it's a huge
It's like multiple stories at least like 10 or 15.
Yeah, and it's just
yeah, and it's an elevator too. I'm like, there's 3 stories. Why the fuck do you need an elevator? And the elevator only goes from 1 and 2.
Oh, it goes to the third too.
No, you go.
You go up the stairs. Yeah.
So the elevator takes you to the 2nd floor, and then you have to go up the stairs to get to the roof. So the elevator's fucking worthless. It's really stupid. The map is really dumb, and the parts in the map you have to talk to certain people and do certain things, and it doesn't explain it. But the characters will give you small hints, like go to the building, or I heard this person was in front of this thing, and you're like, where the fuck is that thing?
Yeah, and like one of the things, the part I got stuck on the most is. So it's after the building and everything. The group of intruders or whatever they're called. I forgot what those purple robed dudes are called.
The Dark Duelists or something.
Like they're intruders.
Oh, rare card hunters. They're the rare card hunters.
Yeah, they're the hunters.
That's the whole point of this is that when you win a duel, you get a rare card, and then that's always a shit.
Yeah. Oh, and there's an Annie system. Every time you duel, you can choose put up not an Annie. To. Oh, I didn't know.
You can press B, but it means you don't get the ante from that person. But if you're like just trying to farm, just don't do an ante.
Well, and you could do a low ante too.
Yeah, and the low, it's just dumb. The ante, and it made no difference. You got the same card pretty much every time.
Yeah.
It was a rotation between like 5 cards you got from winning a duel.
So yeah, these hunters come out and they scatter all across the entire map,
and you have to beat them everywhere.
And so I start facing them. I start facing them here, facing them there. And then, like, I'll go back to areas because I'm like, did I miss something? I'll go back, and I go back, and all those people appeared again. Because if you beat them, they walk away. But then they appeared again. I was like, do I have to defeat them again? So I kept on.
You missed one.
I must have missed one somewhere.
So you have to beat every single one of them once.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, every single one of them once. And going through and finding them is a pain in the ass because if you don't, like, log what you did, it doesn't log it for you. There's no like in some games there would be a log like, hey, you went here to defeat this guy, which would have been smart.
If they would have just gone away and never came back, that would be a thing. But because they came back every time, you like if you missed one in an area, you'd have to face all of them in that area again because you're like, wait, did I miss one here?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know which one it was.
If it had a log, then it would be much better. Also, if you didn't fucking get reloaded to your house every time.
Oh, God, seriously.
I'm like, what did they do? Like, fucking knocked me out. Someone brought me home.
Yeah, they took your Annie card. They bumped you back to your house.
They probably sexually assaulted you. I'm gonna guess.
I mean, with all the other weird shit in this game, I wouldn't fucking put it past it.
They take your Annie card, and then you end up back at your house, and then you have to go back there and duel them again.
Which is the Annie house is the only place you can save the game to, or your house is the only place you can save the game too.
Which is again, but it's weird because you don't like reload your save. So this is like a really weird game because it's one of those things.
You did. That's why I saved all. I went back to my house all the time to save.
No. So you just go back to your house, but you keep all the progress you made before you got lost. But it doesn't like it seems like it would make you go back to a save because when you load a save, you're back in your house again.
Yeah.
So it doesn't explain that at all.
Why I thought that.
I tested that because I didn't know for sure, and I'm like, all right, I got to know how often I have to save at the beginning. And then I tested it, and I'm like, I have all the same cards except for my Annie card. So that makes sense, though, because of course you'd lose your Annie. Otherwise, you would never lose your Annie.
Yeah.
So it made perfect sense. It just doesn't make any sense that it don't explain it.
Yeah. No, and it's just one of those things that don't explain anything. And like the toy shop that Yugi, because Yugi and Joey at the beginning is like, once we have our located cards, let's meet back at the toy shop.
Also, did you notice in the toy shop what the name of the toy shop was?
No.
It says at the top, Game Shop.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, toy shop?
Yeah.
It says Game Shop. It says game right there. Why'd you call it Toy Shop?
Well, and then like I kept on going back to there because I was like, when do I have to meet them? And like one time I went back there and Yugioh was there. I was like, oh, okay, so I was supposed to go here
because you can duel them.
Yeah, and then I dueled them, and then I kept on going back. I was like, where's these other locator cards? And I kept on not finding these locator cards, which every time I couldn't find a locator card is because it wasn't in a location I hadn't unlocked yet. And I was like,
yeah, so,
fuck, I hate this.
Yeah, the story of this game is very loose. The deck capacity thing is bullshit. Like, this game is crazy. But again, it's just a game. It's so bad, but you can't stop. You're like, all right, this is... Because it's not too bad. It's not too hard.
No.
I think that's why. It's not to the point where you're just like, I'm fucking done, I'm fucking done, I'm fucking done. Like, I can't sit there and be like, all right, I lost twice. I can go back and try a third time.
As much as I got stuck, because I did get stuck for a while with the hunters for several hours. And I kept on getting stuck. Like, I kept on texting Scott, like, what do I do here? Like, I have no idea. And he's like, oh, go to the museum. I'm like, oh, fucking damn it. And I was like, this is so dumb. But, like, even with that, it wasn't anywhere near as aggravating as fucking Billy Hatcher.
Like hard games, or like if you play a game and you're on the boss fight for 3 hours, you know? Yeah. That's super aggravating because you're sitting there like, oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god.
And if I lost like 5 duels in a row or something, what I would do is I'd go look through my deck, I'd see what I could upgrade, I'd go to the card shop, I'd see what I could change, I could see what I could do.
It's an improvement game for sure, because if you're losing a lot, that means you're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
So it's not like the mechanics are bullshit and I can't fucking do this. It's, oh shit, I have to go change something about this deck. That's what's nice about these games is, oh man, I lost, which means I'm doing something wrong in my deck. I need to change it. So you can do things to better yourself in that regard. But in other games, you're like, I fucking lost because the fucking mechanics are fucking bullshit. I fucking hate the boss. I'm gonna fucking throw my controller against her wall, or as our friend says, I will punch this game in the face.
So my strategy with my deck was I did forest monsters, and I did forest and water. Yeah. Because I was doing all forest for a while, but then anytime anyone had a pyro in their fucking deck,
only one person did, really. They had like random pyros, but like, only
but even
Joey,
those random pyros were annoying as hell because they would take out my most powerful monsters, and when I'm doing sacrifice monsters, I only have 1 to 2 monsters out on the field. Yeah. At the very most, I had like 3 or 4. But like it was just, I don't think I ever got to 5 monsters. Yeah. But like. So I was like, all right, I'll add water to my deck as well. That way I have the counter to fire at least. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I can add forest cards to change the type of the map. And then I was like, oh, I ended up getting one of the rare cards you get from Tsunami.
Legendary Fisherman?
It's either that one or one of the other ones you get from him for dueling him the second time.
Yeah. Well, Legendary Fisherman.
Kirushin. I think the card's name was like Kirushin.
Kirushin.
It's a pretty damn good monster, and the monster, when you put it out, its effect is you can change the map type to water.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I had a bunch of forest cards, and I had some water cards, and I had that, so I had different ways of getting the map to my...
This is a big attribute.
It really was. Right. And once I figured out that, and once I figured out how to build my decks right, and started like testing a lot of things and trying them out, it did get a lot more fun. Yeah. I will have to admit that the duels actually were pretty fun.
Yeah, but... If you ever want to play a real Yu-Gi-Oh game, pick any of them. Because this one's like the worst one for real.
Or if you like trading card games, but you want one that's really balanced and always stay the same, Magic.
Yeah.
All the video games for Magic are all the exact same rules as the Magic game with the exact same cards.
Like I said, this is like a publisher who made 4 games, and they're all like this, where the attributes are different. Yeah. Or where the cards are all different, like effects and power levels and everything. Mm-hmm. It's just 4 games of this. And the original game, I played it a bunch. It was a lot of fun. I can't remember what it's called, but... Like in the original one, all you do, it's not like a story game. You just pick a duelist, you duel them a certain number of times, and then you unlock another duelist after winning a certain number of duels. So that's what they kind of did. And I think with this one, they tried to make it more of a story. But my question too is, why the fuck did they make a different character? Why don't you just play as Yugioh or as Joey or something?
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, why do you have your own character? Like, you don't get to create your character.
Yeah, the stories are, again, they took a story that was already there and they said, let's make it harder for us and rewrite it a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just like,
it's so easy. It's like, you already have the source material, you already have everything. And they're like, no, we got to make it our own.
And when I first saw that, I was like, wait, I'm not playing as Yugi?
Yeah, you'd expect to, but no, you don't. You should, because the duels that are important, like Yugi gets beat a lot by stupid people. Like Joey doesn't beat him originally. He does, but he lets him because he doesn't want to kill him. Well, all this random stuff. It doesn't have Serenity in there, who's Joey's sister, who doesn't see, who has her vision restored. It doesn't have Tristan really doing anything in there. You can duel him nonstop, but he doesn't really do anything else.
Well, and then it's weird too, because like the feel of these duels is so different depending on who you're dueling. Because like some of the duels are like, hey man, we're best friends. I want you to try your hardest, beat my ass if you have to. This would be great. We're gonna have a fun time. It doesn't matter who wins.
I will beat you because I will kill you. Afterwards.
And another one's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna murder your family. I'm gonna murder everything in the world.
I've already raped your mom.
Or like you face a guy and it's like, I lost. I was mind controlled. You didn't even know I was mind controlled. You thought I was the bad guy.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And you're like, what?
Some of the duelists have very, very, very interesting personality. And they all have like themes. Like Weevil is like a bug guy. Rex Raptor, obviously a dinosaur guy.
Yeah.
Bones, big surprise. He's a graveyard duelist. And fucking like everyone has a theme. Yugi's is spellcasters. Basically, Joey's is pyros and warriors. My Valentine is all harpy lady stuff. So.
And because it is a Game Boy game too, the graphics on it are terrible.
But they're 8-bit. I mean, they're 8-bit, like 2D scroller graphics almost.
Well, the thing that sucked about it is like
3D, 2D scroller. It's hard to say.
Like but the thing that sucked about it too was like you would go into an area and like the street above the clock tower. There was nowhere to go, but it looked like you could go up, and then it had like side alleyways that had nothing in them.
Yeah, they look like they're like destinations that you load you into another part of the map, and they don't.
It's I kept on going back to those. So I was like, oh,
maybe they unlock it.
Yeah, I was gonna I haven't done enough to go that way yet.
Not at all.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole game. I mean, we got through the story, the cards, the dumb characters, all the ridiculous hair. This game is ridiculous with its hair. Everyone has ridiculous hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to move on to reviews?
Sure.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this game is not a long game. It probably took me like 4 or 5 hours to beat it. It was not crazy.
Took me probably 10 to 11.
Yeah, and it's just if it's your first time playing, there's a lot of stupid things. And I mean, this is like my second or third time playing this, and I still was like, what the fuck do I do here again? Because it's so weird.
Like I said, I got lost a lot. I tried a lot of decks. I tried doing all the decks myself. I tried playing it like I do Magic, which probably was a hindrance to me at first. Yeah. Especially because I didn't know the attributes thing. I didn't realize the attributes thing. Like I didn't look up how the dueling mechanics work until probably 5 to 6 hours into the game. Yeah. Because I got so aggravated that I was like, how the fuck do these duels work? Yeah. And then I finally, which even like looking up stuff on this game, like it's so like it's like from weird sites.
I know, but it's crazy because when you do look up stuff on this game, I'm like, damn, a lot of people play this game.
I know.
Like, fuck, there's so many pages to this. They even have like wikis dedicated to this.
Oh, and there's so many Let's Plays for it on YouTube and stuff.
It's so weird.
How is this such a popular game?
Because it's just one of those games. You play it and you can't stop. Like that's what I was getting. I was like, man, this is actually pretty fun. It's a good time killer game. But yeah, let's go into the worth
or not.
Yeah, there we go. The Worfer.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go with the Worf from now on. Worf is gonna, because that's the guy from Star Trek. So if it's a Worf, I'm gonna call it a Worf.
Worf. All right. Sure, whatever.
Well, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
We made it up. Fuck everyone else.
Fuck everyone. If you have a better idea for what we should name this subject,
fuck you. That's what I say.
We might take it.
No!
But fuck you still.
All right, so for me, I think this game, I'm going to say worth. I'm going to say worth because I don't think you're going to go anywhere and get this game for under or over like $10.
I don't think
there's
so
no way someone's selling this game for like Pokemon prices, you know?
No, it's
there's
definitely
no
not
fucking
Pokemon
I didn't look it
prices.
up, but I really should have because I'm really curious about how much like
Yeah,
but I'm thinking worth because it was still a fun game. It was enjoyable, even though the mechanics are kind of stupid. You learn stuff. Like that's the point in these games is you learn about them and you like, okay, it doesn't show you this, but I figured it out fairly easily. Right? Yeah. You figure out something's wrong. Obviously, 6 hours in the game, you're like, something is fucking up with this. What is going on? And you look it up and you figure it out. Yeah, you'll never find that information in the game. But I'm gonna say worth just because it's just one of those games where you can't put it down after you start playing. You're like, I gotta beat it now. And this is, like I said, my third or second playthrough, and I had a lot of fun playing it still because the story's still cool. Yeah. It's still, if you liked Yu-Gi-Oh, you remember the Battle City tournament because that was the most famous like Yu-Gi-Oh arc, whatever. So if you like Yu-Gi-Oh, I think this game is worth for sure. If you're kind of like on the fence about some of this stuff, I think it's worth. Yeah. I'm honestly, if you're a fan of trading card games, I'm going to honestly say this is either worth or worth myself.
because there are some frustrating things about it. But like Scott said, and to me, this felt like when I first started learning Magic, it's a lot of information all at once.
Yeah.
It's nothing that a lot of people like really tell you or teach you. You have to read a lot of the cards. You have to battle it out. You have to test things out for yourself. It really does build this mechanic of the more time you put into it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
The better you understand the game, the better you understand certain things. And it really does. It's really rewarding. Like, this game had really good pacing as far as, like, I know, like we said, like, that first time you battle, like, the water guy, Tsunami, it's really challenging because we probably didn't grind enough or whatever at first. But, like, it doesn't take long to grind.
Yeah, you could listen to a podcast while you do.
Yeah.
You could listen to this podcast.
And honestly, like, the duels are fast. They are fast. Like, he was even saying, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, like, in real life are really fast. But the duels in this are fast. Like, you could get through a duel in 2 minutes. Yeah.
If you play on an emulator, you could super speed it up.
Oh, I never did that.
No, I always speed up my duels. I'm like, oh, fuck, waiting for this shit.
But, like, it was... Honestly, like, it was a lot of fun. It took me a long time to get it, but there's so much information because of the amount of player base this game actually has.
Yeah,
that you could figure out different things.
Like,
and
you gotta know that it's pretty good when people are fucking still playing it now and still releasing. I'm like, shit.
There's tons of Reddit pages that are still like going on today about this game.
That's how insanely popular it was, even though it was kind of a shit game. Like,
well, and like the coolest thing about it is, like, I finally found this website when I got done with the game that actually had a bunch of like different decks, and they had the exact deck capacity you needed and the level you needed for it. And I was like, this would have been so helpful at the beginning of the game.
Again, and then you'll find the ones that are 10,000 power, and you're like, I feel shit.
Right?
There's no way I'm getting that. No, I'm not fucking grinding my ass
off.
Which,
there are people that do grind ridiculously for those games.
Because this game is only 5 hours long. Fuck those people. They grinded for the extra 5 hours to get that.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I do agree. This game was fun to play. Yeah. I did enjoy it. I had more fun than I thought I was going to with it.
Yeah, and I mean, insanely fun. Way more than you think it is. And I think everyone who plays it will get a little bit of worth out of it. I think all of you would have a lot of fun playing. So it's definitely a grade like B game.
Yeah.
A grade B, for sure. All right, well, that was Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. Yeah. What's our next week game, Steven?
Oh.
You want me to tell you? Because I know.
Vanquish.
It is Vanquish.
Yes, I had to remember.
Vanquish is insane because it was released in what, 2007?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was released in 2007, and they just ported it recently in the last couple of years, I think, to PC and to Xbox One. And like, it's great. It's an Xbox 360 game. So we're going to play the port version on the PC, and we're super excited for it because it looks fucking amazing.
Yes. This game is one I've seen on a lot of top 10. This game was in the same top 10 list as Sleeping Dogs. It's one of the most underrated games of all time.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, and it looks fucking great.
Yes.
So we're excited to play it.
Big, dumb action movie. Yeah. And like, I've only watched the opening scene for it so far, but holy fuck.
I'm excited. I have to wait till I get my new computer to play it, but it's going to be soon. So
yes. Here is all my information for everyone watching. For my Instagram, it's at the Stephen McGee.
But I don't see your OnlyFans.
Oh, well, I'm not posting that on there.
Okay.
I don't want people.
That's how you get subscriptions, Stephen.
I'm sorry.
That's how you make money.
I don't want Zach or Corey to walk in my OnlyFans.
You have to. You need the fan base.
I'm at the Gooey Magoo on TikTok. Or no, the Gooey Magoo on Instagram, at the Steve McGee on TikTok. I have those backwards. That was stupid. The Gooey Magoo on YouTube, and Soul of a Gamer podcast on YouTube as well.
Yes, and I am Poser67 on YouTube. If you ever want to just go check me out. I didn't want him to make one for me because I was like, I only have that. It's going to look sad alone. That's all I have.
We could have put it underneath mine.
just go there if you want to check me out. I do game playthroughs and funny commentary on them. So yes. So that's it. That's this week's game. Thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate
love you.
We don't.
Well, I love you.
He doesn't.
I love some of you.
He jerks off to other people. He doesn't.
Just you.
This is Soul of a Gamer signing out.
Bye.